The movie begins with a disturbing scene. A man wakes up in a dimly lit room, confused and terrified. His name is Michael. He's alone, sweating heavily, breathing fast, and there's panic in his eyes. Suddenly, he notices something horrifying, a metal mask device locked around his head. There's a small TV screen flickering in front of him. On it, a grainy recording plays, and the terrifying voice of Jigsaw echoes through the room. The voice calmly explains that the key to his survival is implanted behind his right eye. The only way to save himself is to cut it out. Michael trembles in fear, screaming as he picks up the scalpel placed before him. The timer begins to tick down. He hesitates, his hand shaking, tears falling, unable to do it. The timer hits 0. The device snaps shut violently, killing him instantly as the screen goes dark. The chilling game begins. The next day, Detective Eric Matthews, a tired and frustrated cop, is investigating a murder scene with his partner Carrie. They've discovered Michael's body. On the wall, written in blood, are the words "Look closer, Detective Matthews." Carrie realizes it's another work of the serial killer known as Jigsaw, the mastermind behind multiple deadly games meant to test his victims' will to live. Eric's relationship with his team and family is strained. He's divorced, has a teenage son named Daniel, and carries guilt and frustration from his past cases. At home, he barely talks to Daniel, who feels neglected and angry. Eric wakes up from a restless night when he receives a call from Carrie. She's found Jigsaw's location. Eric rushes to an abandoned warehouse with a SWAT team. Inside, they finally find John Kramer, the man behind the Jigsaw persona. But to their surprise, he isn't hiding or fighting back. He's calmly sitting in a chair, attached to medical equipment, coughing weakly. He's dying of cancer. Yet his calmness unnerves everyone. Eric confronts him furiously, demanding answers, but Jigsaw simply smiles. He says, "I want to play a game." He points to a bank of monitors showing live feeds. On the screens are 8 people trapped in a sealed house. Gas is being pumped into the air, a slow-acting nerve agent that will kill them in 2 hours unless they find antidotes hidden inside the house. Among them is Daniel, Eric's son. Eric freezes in shock as he sees his boy on the screen. His anger turns into panic. He demands to know where the house is, but Jigsaw remains composed. He tells Eric, "All you have to do is sit here and talk to me. If you do, you'll find your son in a safe and secure place." Meanwhile, inside the house, the 8 captives wake up confused. There's a mix of people: Amanda, who had survived a previous Jigsaw trap; Xavier, a muscular and aggressive man; Gus, Addison, Jonas, Laura, Obi, and a nervous young man named Daniel. They all find a tape recorder with a chilling message from Jigsaw. He tells them that they've all taken their lives for granted, committed sins, and now must find redemption by facing their inner demons. The door to freedom is locked, but clues and antidotes are hidden throughout the house. Panic spreads quickly as they realize the deadly gas is making them cough and weak. They rush through the house, searching for a way out. Gus tries to peek through the peephole of a door, but Xavier impatiently pulls the trigger on the lock, and the bullet goes through Gus's head, killing him instantly. Chaos erupts as blood sprays on the wall. The others scream, realizing they're trapped in a death house. Back in the warehouse, Jigsaw sits calmly, monitoring everything. Eric grows furious. He threatens to beat him, but Carrie warns him to stay calm. Jigsaw keeps provoking him, saying he's responsible for his broken family and career. Eric, boiling with rage, punches him, but Jigsaw only smirks. "Your anger is your weakness," he says. Inside the house, the group finds a note that says the numbers are in the back of your mind. They don't understand its meaning yet. Amanda recognizes the setup. She's been here before. She warns everyone not to rush, that everything in this place is part of the game. But Xavier doesn't listen. He breaks open a door leading to a dark basement. Inside, Obi finds 2 furnaces with a tape saying, "Here's your chance to save yourself." He realizes he's been chosen to retrieve antidotes. He crawls into one furnace, grabs the syringe, but as soon as he pulls it, the furnace ignites. Flames burst around him. He screams as fire engulfs him. The others try to save him by pulling a valve, but it's too late. Obi burns alive, his screams echoing through the house. Outside, Eric becomes more desperate. Jigsaw continues manipulating him, calmly explaining his philosophy, that he never kills anyone directly. He only puts them in situations where they must choose whether to live or die. He tells Eric, "Those who don't appreciate life do not deserve it." Eric scoffs, saying Jigsaw is just a murderer hiding behind riddles. But Jigsaw replies, "You're just like them. You don't see the truth. As the house's clock keeps ticking, the trapped group becomes more paranoid. Daniel reveals that his father is a cop. The others grow suspicious. Xavier especially becomes violent, thinking Daniel's father might be the one who put them here. Amanda tries to protect Daniel, realizing something deeper is going on. They discover another room with a glass box filled with syringes. Inside is an antidote. The note says, "Sometimes the way out is through the pain." Addison volunteers, desperate for survival. She puts her hands into the box but screams as hidden blades cut her wrists. The more she struggles, the deeper the blades go. She's trapped, bleeding heavily. The others try to help, but the box design makes it impossible. Addison slowly bleeds out, her hope fading as she looks at the antidote inches away but forever unreachable. Time is running out. One by one, they begin to weaken from the gas. Laura collapses and dies in Daniel's arms. The tension builds as Xavier begins to realize something. The numbers written on the back of everyone's necks might be the code for the safe in the room. He looks closer and sees faint numbers tattooed behind Jonas's neck. Jonas confronts him, but Xavier, desperate and crazed, smashes his head with a nail-studded bat, killing him brutally. The house becomes a nightmare of survival and madness. Back in the warehouse, Jigsaw continues his psychological game. He keeps telling Eric to sit and talk. "Time is on your side if you follow the rules," he says. Eric's patience runs thin. Carrie keeps urging him to stay calm, but Eric feels every second slip away. He looks at his son's screen. Daniel's breathing is getting weaker. Jigsaw tells him, "You can save your son, detective, but only by listening." As the clock nears the end, Xavier hunts Daniel and Amanda through the house, knowing the code is on their necks. The scene shifts to complete panic as the walls seem to close in, the air grows thicker, and the remaining survivors realize that only fear, pain, and desperation remain. The House of Jigsaw is not just a test, it's a reflection of human guilt and survival instinct. And as Eric watches helplessly, Jigsaw's calm voice echoes. But the old man remains calm, breathing slowly, his cancer-ridden body fragile, yet his voice firm. He tells Eric that the games are designed for lessons, not punishment. Eric mocks his philosophy, shouting that killing people teaches nothing, but Jigsaw replies softly, "You're so used to breaking rules that you can't even see when they're saving you." Eric threatens to torture him for the answer, but Jigsaw doesn't move. Instead, he says, "You've broken so many lives with your lies, detective. You framed people, planted evidence, destroyed hope. Now it's your turn to face truth." Eric's anger explodes. He grabs Jigsaw by the collar and drags him out of the chair, forcing him to lead the way to the house. Carrie and the SWAT team protest, but Eric doesn't care. He's done waiting. They leave, following Jigsaw through the dark hallways of the abandoned factory, as the monitors keep showing chaos inside the house. Back inside, Amanda and Daniel stumble into a bathroom, a familiar, horrifying place. The same filthy, rusted bathroom from the first game. The walls are stained, the floor soaked in dried blood. In one corner lies a corpse from the earlier trap, still chained, its skull half decayed. Amanda recognizes it immediately. "I've been here before," she whispers, trembling. Xavier enters behind them, cornering them both. He forces Amanda to show the back of her neck, cutting his own arm open to read the number tattooed on his flesh through a mirror. But when he reaches for Daniel, something unexpected happens. Daniel suddenly grabs a hidden knife and slashes Xavier's throat, cutting deep. Xavier drops his weapon, choking and collapsing on the floor. Daniel stands frozen, staring at the dying man, realizing he's just killed someone. Amanda takes his hand and leads him to sit down. "You did what you had to," she says softly, though fear and sadness fill her eyes. Meanwhile, in the outside world, Eric forces Jigsaw to drive him to the supposed house location. The old man coughs continuously, his condition worsening, but his expression stays eerily calm. Eric keeps yelling, threatening to kill him, but Jigsaw keeps repeating, "You'll find your son in a safe and secure place." They finally reach an old building. The SWAT team storms in, but something feels off. The place seems abandoned for days. Dust covers the floors, wires are dead, and the monitors are showing pre-recorded footage. The horrifying realization hits Carrie. The live feed wasn't live. It was recorded. The house game had already happened hours ago. Eric, realizing this too late, screams in rage. He turns to Jigsaw, who only smirks. "You didn't listen, detective," he says. "I told you the truth." Eric punches him repeatedly, demanding to know where his son is. Jigsaw coughs blood but whispers, "He is in a safe place." Meanwhile, the footage reveals the end of the game. Amanda helps Daniel open a large safe hidden behind a wall. Inside it, they find oxygen masks and medical supplies. Daniel passes out from the gas as Amanda gently lays him down. She then looks up, her face calm, emotionless. Something has changed in her. She's no longer just a survivor. She's something else now, part of Jigsaw's plan. Back at the factory, Eric, furious, drags Jigsaw through the hallways until they reach another old corridor. He forces him to open a door. The place looks identical to the one on the monitors. Eric steps inside, flashlight trembling, shouting for his son. The air is thick and silent. As he moves deeper, he hears a faint metallic noise. Suddenly, a figure attacks from behind, knocking him unconscious. He wakes up shackled in the same bathroom where Daniel and Amanda were earlier. His flashlight flickers. In front of him lies a tape recorder. Trembling, he plays it. It's Amanda's voice. She says, "Hello, Eric. You probably don't remember me, but you helped put me in prison. I was once a victim, but Jigsaw showed me the truth, the value of life. I was tested and reborn. Now I'm the one testing others. You failed your test, detective. Game over." Eric screams in rage, trying to break free, but the chain holds tight. Amanda appears at the door, emotionless, and slams it shut. The sound of the lock echoes through the room, just like in the first movie. Eric is left screaming in darkness. Back in the control room, the safe that Jigsaw pointed to from the start slowly opens. Inside it lies Daniel, alive, unconscious but breathing, completely safe. Carrie and the team find him hours later, proving Jigsaw's words were literal. Eric could have found his son, in a safe and secure place, if only he had listened. Jigsaw smiles faintly as his heart slows, whispering, "Game over." The film ends with the echo of Eric's distant screams, fading into silence as the door slams shut forever, marking another twisted victory for the dying mastermind who turned life itself into a lesson.